Hey, what's up everybody? My name is Chuy and welcome back to Boss Labs. And today I'm here at the studio and sorry it's a little messy. It was a long week, but it's also gonna be a long week moving forward with some work, so it's gonna stay messy for a little while. But today I wanna talk about Zoom and how you can use some of the features on that app. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the video conferencing app that we've been using for virtual meetings for the last 6 or 7 months. I'm sure you've heard of it. But there's features in that program that can help you create a more immersive experience for a certain type of class or a certain type of video. Last week, I helped a friend with a yoga class here in the studio, and we were able to use some of these features and some of the gear I had already on hand here in the studio to create a more immersive experience for the other people on the other side of the screen. So for this, you can use this for classes like yoga, you can use it for meditation, you can use it for reading plays, you can even use it if you're a parent who happens to be away, and you can use these features to read a bedtime story to your kid and make sure that that production quality, that it's a way more immersive experience with clearer sound, maybe some sound effects or some ambient music, and higher quality video all mixed into that. So let's get into the setup that I have here and I'll go over everything. First of all, my setup is pretty simple. We have one video source and 2 audio sources, meaning the video source is going to be our webcam either on our computer or the camera that I'll be plugging into the computer using as a webcam. And I'm going to be using 2 audio sources, one of them being a lavalier mic like the one I have on me right now, and the audio coming from the computer creating the atmosphere. So 2 audio sources, 1 video source. As far as peripherals besides my camera and my computer, I have an external monitor that I used so that the person who's giving a class or talking can see the other people in the Zoom call, but you don't necessarily need this, especially if you're using the webcam on your computer. I also have a wireless microphone and a audio USB interface. You won't need an interface if you have a USB mic that plugs directly into your computer. Just know that I usually use microphones for my cameras, and this converts that signal into a digital one so that I can use the microphones I already have that I use here in the studio directly into my computer. That's it. So this whole setup's made pretty simple because camera manufacturers like Canon, Sony, and others have made utilities for your computers so you could use their cameras as webcams directly into your computer for video calls like this. I'm personally using a Canon camera, but I know Sony does this for their cameras. Just check online and there'll be a list of cameras that are available with this software. My camera at this point is about 5 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and it's on that list. So if you have anything relatively new, I would say, chances are you can plug that in directly via USB without any additional peripherals, without any additional hardware, and use that as your webcam, just automatically increasing your production value for your phone calls. And I think that's really cool of them, and I'm glad that these features are available to us now. So this video is more about managing the sources that you have going into your computer and webbing those together to create a much more immersive experience for the other people on the other side of the screen. So this is really going to come in handy for, like I said, any sort of class where you can use some sort of ambient audio or some sort of music. So the next part is going to be on the actual application on Zoom on the computer, and we have Ben coming over to help us out with that. So let's jump on to the computer real quick. So we have our camera set as our video source, and it's looking pretty clean if you ask me. But let's cut and see what it looks like if Ben was using the built-in webcam. Big difference. Now for audio, we have our audio interface as the input and the MacBook as the speakers for the output. This will let you hear the music or whatever you're playing through the MacBook speakers as you're giving your class or as you're talking. Here is where we can add atmosphere with some tunes. We'll click Share Screen and go over to the Advanced tab, and then we'll click to be using the computer audio. You'll have to do some A/B testing when it comes to the audio. Sometimes what I do is I'll invite myself to my own class and walk somewhere away just to hear the level of music and have something playing through the mic. Or if you have a friend, you can have them put on the mic, have them talk, and find a good mix while you're listening to the feed that someone else is seeing via their phone or via a computer, and you'll have to find a nice mix. So normally, in most cases, what some people do to create some sort of atmosphere is they play music via a speaker and then they give their class. They just kind of have the music kind of low and they find their own mix. So we're gonna have Ben give us an example of what that sounds like. So I'm gonna be using stock everything, the webcam on the computer, the audio coming from the computer, and some music coming from a speaker, and trying to create that immersive experience without any of the added peripherals that we have. So let's see what that sounds like.
"Let me out! Let me out!" the high-pitched voice called angrily. Chris sat up with a jolt, her entire body convulsed in a shudder of fear. Her eyes darted to the other bed. Wendy hadn't moved. Did you hear it? Chris stammered. Hear what? Lindy asked sleepily. Voice, Chris whispered. In the closet?
So now that we have an example of that, we're gonna do the exact same performance or something very close to using the peripherals. And this is also being recorded through Zoom. And I'm gonna be showing you the Zoom recording that comes from it versus a recording that would be directly onto the camera. So let's play that for you now.
Let me out! Let me out! The high-pitched voice called angrily. Chris sat up with a jolt, her entire body convulsed in a shudder of fear. Her eyes darted to the other bed. Lindy hadn't moved. Did you hear it? Chris stammered. Hear what? Lindy asked sleepily. The voice, Chris whispered. In the closet.
And that's pretty much it. It's pretty simple. You do have to do a little bit of testing, but once you have it figured out, you'll be increasing your production value a lot. And if you're teaching classes like yoga or you have people coming in for a service, you'll definitely have them coming back or at least talking about comparing you to others that they've taken. And hopefully yours stands out of the crowd and people keep coming back for your classes, for your reading, for your meditation, for anything. This could be used in a bunch of applications, I'm sure some which I'm not listing here. But yeah, go from streaming, stock streaming, to streaming like a boss. So if you have any comments or questions, please leave that in the comment section below. And like always, if you like the stuff you saw here, give us a subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.